to be a private trip to benchmark, Mr. Speaker, to see, I don't know, to visit. This was an invitation to see the technology that we have right now for treating cancer. And Mr. Speaker, someone who carries a pistol, who is a trained officer, Mr. Speaker, to protect the governor, cannot tell us they went there because they are the governor's security and the governor was not there. Let everyone stick to their profession. Let the oncologists be the ones to be sent, Mr. Speaker, to benchmark. You cannot use public funds, Mr. Speaker, even to travel to Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Maybe even their trip in China was funded by China, Mr. Speaker. But you find claims that these officers use money. That's why they were looking for these approvals, Mr. Speaker, for their local travel to, and when they were coming back, Mr. Speaker. So you cannot use a coin of public funds, Mr. Speaker, not even to buy a biscuit, Mr. Speaker, without following the due process. Mr. Speaker, the Council for Governor, that is one Dastan Omari, Mr. Speaker, I've heard something before this Honorable House that we passed the budget, the governor, the office of the governor is using to illegally employ people, that we are guilty, that we should be guilty as a house, Mr. Speaker, because we passed the budget, Mr. Speaker. It's like telling a parent, Mr. Speaker, it's because, Mr. Speaker, it's like telling a parent, Mr. Speaker, because you sent your child to school and the child was hit by a bus, that is your mistake. We passed the budget, we gave it to the governor. In one instance, we gave her even directions to give us, Mr. Speaker, policy directions on how she's going to buy live animals. She never brought them. She started doing okolea, Mr. Speaker, with the money meant for buying live animals without any policy. We gave her money to pay the required number of staff who are 38 in our office. She used this to stretch and pay people peanuts to employ many without going through the service board. Then she employed, Mr. Speaker, 103 people masqueraded as senior staff, others as cleaners. Then she employed them, Mr. Speaker, and on further interrogation, some of them are mother-daughter, with birth certificates attached, without any shame. And then you tell us we are guilty because we passed the budget, as if we should not deny the office of the governor budget for staff. She goes and overstretches. Then we are told not to do oversight. What we are doing is the oversight for the funds we allocated. And that oversight includes impeachment, Mr. Speaker. One of the duties allocated to this House by the Constitution is oversight, legislation, representation, Mr. Speaker. And a fourth one that is not very pronounced, impeachment, Mr. Speaker. And that's why we are here today. The question of gender that was brought by Dustin Omari, Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge the Council to stay and see how the female members of this House will vote. And Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether the voters of Meru were not gender sensitive when they were electing a female governor. And like I suggested to someone who called, Mr. Speaker, to suggest that we are impeaching the governor because of her gender. And that county as a female governor, I told them to give us theirs, we give them ours. Mr. Speaker, traffic marshals. The Council for Governor Dustin said that the traffic marshals have solved so many problems and we should not be talking about them, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, we are not talking about them. Mr. Speaker, there exists an enforcement unit that has been hired regularly in this county, Mr. Speaker. Just because it's not the governor who hired them, she pushed them aside, created officers called traffic marshals, bought some bikes, hired people. She wrote first of all to the County Public Service Board, the letters are here. The Public Service Board refused to create those offices. She negated that advice. She created them herself, then masqueraded them in the payroll as cleaners. Then gave them bikes. Of course, they are doing all these arrests or the arbitrary arrests and everything, and to make us up. What was the procedure of employing them? Why not use the existing enforcement officers in this county, Mr. Speaker, who are now jobless because their jobs has been taken over by bouncers, Mr. Speaker, in the name of traffic marshals, who are harassing even people in town. Because if you listen to what the governor was saying from the video is, Mr. Speaker, she was saying, we want to use them to oversight county employees. They're even harassing county employees. We want to use them to oversight people who are collecting revenue to see whether they are eating the revenue. Mr. Speaker, she has her own oversight when she is supposed to be oversighted. Reverse roles, Mr. Speaker. The role of oversight is not ours. is not for her to create traffic marshals to oversight county officers. It's for this House, Mr. Speaker, to oversight everybody who is employed in this county, Mr. Speaker. The governor, Mr. Speaker, the other lie